Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We have more strong to severe thunderstorms to contend with today through this weekend, with multiple hazards, including damaging winds, large hail, and isolated tornadoes. Then a major warm up is in store with heat building eastward into next week. And then a very active weather pattern takes us into late May and early June with significant severe storms possible. We'll get into those details later on in today's video. But going back to yesterday, it was a very active day for severe weather across portions of the eastern seaboard, especially into the central and southern Appalachian chain, where we did have widespread damaging winds. In fact, 103 wind reports were reported, 19 hail reports for a total of 122 severe weather reports. The good news is we had 0 tornadoes, so that was the good news going out from yesterday. But as we go through today, the pattern looks like this. We have a upper level ridge spiking all the way up into the western Canadian provinces and across the Pacific Northwest, with more troughing and a strong trough at that across the eastern Canadian provinces and down here into the northeast. And what this is doing this morning to our temperatures is it is fairly mild across the western 2/3 of the country and also down here across the Gulf Coast states and the southeast, where with that trough to the north and east, we do have some cooler temperatures into the 20s and 30s up here waking up this morning across Ontario and Quebec, Canada, even some 30s into upstate New York, into portions there of Vermont, New Hampshire, and northern Maine this morning. And this is a big temperature change from just 24 hours ago. We are a good 10 to 20 plus degrees cooler up here across the upper Great Lakes region into New England from just 24 hours ago from yesterday morning. But as we go into this afternoon, the heat will be building across the middle of the country. We'll be back into the low and middle 80s across the Great Plains, parts of the Midwest, and then down here across the Gulf Coast, we could be achieving 90 degrees across those areas. But with that upper level trough across eastern and southeastern Canada, we will have some cooler temperatures to contend with across the Northeast and New England, the upper Great Lakes regions here from the UP of Michigan through northern lower Michigan and much of the Northeast. We're seeing temperatures into the 40s and 50s for highs later on today. But if you like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, now is the time to press the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers out there. And it's also very important to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. It helps to get all of this weather information dispersed to as many people as possible. So I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers and all of the likes on this video. But going through today, we have 2 areas we're watching for strong thunderstorms. One of these areas is back across the western high plains from South Dakota all the way southward towards the Amarillo area into the Texas Panhandle. And we're also seeing a marginal risk in the dark green area here from southern South Carolina through southern Georgia, central and southern Alabama, into west central portions there of Mississippi as well through today. And then as we go into Thursday, that area shifts back across the southern plains to across portions of west central Oklahoma, the eastern Texas Panhandle, and down into west central Texas toward the El Paso region as we go through portions of your Thursday. So going through the next 48 hours or so, starting at noon time frame today, pretty quiet here. A couple of showers with a cold front up to the north across southern Manitoba, getting into the western Dakotas and southeastern Montana. A couple of showers and a rumble of thunder or two across Dixie Alley through the noon time frame. But as we go through late this afternoon toward the 6 p.m. time frame and early this evening, right along that cold front here in the western high plains, we're going to be seeing some scattered showers and storms develop. Not everybody will see these, but if you get under one of these stronger cells, we could be seeing some isolated damaging winds, large hail, and possibly an isolated tornado. Also some stronger storms we're watching down here across Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and then even moving into South Carolina through this evening. That will continue more or less through the midnight time frame. They'll start to lose their luster a little bit more as we go after sunset here this evening. So watch for a downtrend in the severe weather threat as we go into later tonight. And then as we go into Thursday, noon time frame again, we do it all over again. That cold front will progress a little bit farther to the south and east across the upper Midwest here, back into Nebraska, watching out for a few stronger storms through the noon time frame. But we're also watching the remnants of some stronger storms across South Carolina, eastern Georgia through the morning hours on Thursday. Going into peak daytime heating, 6 p.m. on Thursday, boom, we got some big storms back here across the portions of the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, couple of strong storms off the front range of the Rockies in interaction with that cold front, definitely possible. More garden variety type of thunderstorms down here across the southeast, but I suppose a storm or two could get a little feistier with some stronger winds and some smaller hail through your Thursday afternoon and evening. And then by the time we get into the late evening hours, the overnight hours into Friday, we will start to see more of a mesoscale convective system, otherwise known as an MCS, develop across portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas Panhandle that will move eastward, bringing heavy rain, some damaging winds, large hail, and even a couple of spin-up tornadoes. But going through Friday time frame, as we go through late this week, that cold front will again be progressing ever so slightly farther off to the south and east through late week, and with building instability down here across the southern plains, especially into central Texas, where we have over 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability. And we have at least some weak to moderate wind shear values from the surface all the way up into the mid-levels in the 500 millibar layer on Friday. I think with northward extent, especially there into Oklahoma, I'm thinking southeastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas will be the prime area for some supercells to produce tornadoes. So watch the northeasternmost extent of the slight risk area for tornadoes on Friday. But otherwise, we're seeing some damaging winds and damaging hail through the day on Friday across portions of central Texas, northeast Texas, getting through Oklahoma there into Arkansas, and perhaps up toward the Memphis area there in towards western Tennessee on Friday. So definitely watch out for that going into Friday. Timing it out, that mesoscale convective system through the morning into the early afternoon hours on Friday will be progressing up here and towards the Tulsa region, Joplin, getting over toward the Fort Smith, Fayetteville area there into northwestern Arkansas. By the time we get toward early evening on Friday, we're watching a broken line of strong thunderstorms. These could be the ones to produce some damaging winds, damaging hail, and even a few tornadoes. I'm watching portions of southeastern Oklahoma into west central Arkansas for the strongest of the storms in the tornado threat there on Friday the most. And then as this progresses through the evening hours towards Saturday morning at 1 o'clock in the morning, we'll still see storms, but the severity of the storms will be waning as they move across the Memphis region, Little Rock, Pine Bluff here into Arkansas, and then back toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as well in towards East Texas. But overall, over the next 2 to 3 days or so, we will be seeing some beneficial rains in areas that definitely need the rainfall the most. Down here across the front range of the Rockies there into southern and southeastern Colorado, northern New Mexico, and then eastbound through portions of southern Kansas, especially into Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, and then over here into Arkansas, we will be seeing a widespread 1 to as much as 3 inches of rain and even some heavier rainfall across parts of the immediate southeast as well, especially closer to the Gulf Coast. Places like Myrtle Beach down to Charleston, South Carolina, could be seeing up to 2 or 3 inches of rain there going through that Saturday, May 20th time frame. And the areas to watch for flash flooding will be especially across portions of southeastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico, getting into the Texas, Oklahoma region, and then into southern Kansas Thursday into Friday with that slight risk for flash flooding, as well as more of a marginal risk across the immediate southeast going into that time frame. And then it takes more of a marginal risk across the Arklatex and southern plains region as we go into Friday and Saturday time frame. But looking longer range through the end of May, the extreme heat for this time of year will be building farther east. We got well above normal temperatures up here across the northern United States, at least through the 26th time frame, and this has some staying power and will continue to progress farther to the east across the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast, going right straight through the end of May on May 30th and 31st. So definitely be expecting more spring and summer-like temperatures farther up to the north here as we go through the end of May, with more average to slightly below average temperatures farther south as you go across portions of the southern United States, especially there into Texas and the southeast, going through the end of May. So taking a brief look at some of those temperatures here already, Saturday, May 20th, we still have some cooler temperatures for this time of year with 60s all across the Great Lakes. Getting into the Northeast on Saturday, all the heat will be off to the west or across the south. But as we go into Sunday here late this upcoming weekend on May 21st, we'll start to build more of this heat farther east. It will take a little while, but we will be seeing more 70s and 80s progressing farther off to the east into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the Northeast. And then by the time we get into Monday, even on Tuesday, we'll see more of this heat starting to build eastward with more widespread 70s and 80s as we go through portions of the Dakotas, Nebraska, getting into Minnesota, Iowa, and eventually into Wisconsin during that early week time frame. We have to look at the weekend for precipitation. If you have any plans this weekend, most of the wet weather will be across the eastern third of the country, from southeastern Canada down across the eastern seaboard here from the eastern Ohio Valley down through the Dixie Alley region, or across portions of the desert Southwest into portions of south central Texas, where we desperately need the rain this weekend. Otherwise, a very beautiful weekend ahead for the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and parts of the Missouri Valley as well during this weekend. Definitely get outside and enjoy it with widespread warmth, lots of sunshine, and no precipitation expected this upcoming weekend. But where we do see the rain, it is definitely beneficial down here into Texas and New Mexico, even into places like Kansas, Oklahoma. We definitely need the rainfall. The new drought monitor will be out tomorrow, but this is the latest drought monitor I do have from this past Thursday. We definitely could be seeing some more rain in this area, so that's definitely some beneficial news. But moving forward through the end of the month, we also have to look at the severe weather prospects as well. So with the ridge starting to build back north, initially with the northern periphery of that will be just into the central plains of Missouri Valley around that May 26th time frame, and that's where the instability will be, with the dew points rising into the 60s and 70s as far north as Kansas or western Missouri during this time frame. And you can see the stronger surface-based instability or cape will be down across Kansas, Oklahoma, into Texas from the central and southern plains largely around that May 26th timeframe. So I think the severe weather will be confined mainly to the Great Plains as we go through that Monday, May 22nd, all the way through the opening stages of next weekend, Saturday, May 27th as well, largely across portions of the Great Plains from North Texas all the way up into North Dakota and southeastern Montana during that period. But as we get deeper into the last week there in May, around the May 31st time frame, possibly turning into early June, that ridge will really take off farther to the north. The northern periphery of that will be centered across the northern plains and the upper Midwest. That's where the instability will reside, with dew points surging well up into southern Canada and the northern plains, the upper Midwest during this time frame. And watch this strong instability build across the north. So I think the severe weather threat will also shift farther to the north during that May 30th, 31st, and even June 1st time frame, farther up to the north across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, getting through Nebraska, Iowa, and even northern Illinois as well during that time frame. We have to watch the northern periphery though. As we see the heat build this time of year, this is prime time for an MCS pattern or a derecho pattern to set up here, with the ridge up and over portions there of the southern plains, with a strong jet stream as well up and over that ridge. So I do think the severe weather will return more of a widespread fashion during that Sunday, May 28th through Friday, June 2nd time frame, especially in that likely category in the orange across portions there in Nebraska, northwest Kansas, and then rounding that ridge up across portions there of South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, getting through Wisconsin there, parts of northern Illinois, and then maybe as far east as southwestern lower Michigan and northern Indiana. But if you're in the yellow shade of color surrounding that, severe weather will still be possible down here into the central and southern plains, as well as the Ohio Valley and the mid-Atlantic states. That will be an area to watch as we turn towards early June. Well, if you want to follow me on Twitter for additional weather forecast updates, I do update update that very frequently throughout the week. So follow me down below by pressing the description and then following me on Twitter at hweather420. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, thanks to all the new subscribers. Thank you guys for all the likes on each of my videos every single morning. You guys are big supporters of this channel. Well, if you liked the video today, make sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my live streams coming up, any of my new videos. And I will be starting podcasts as well, talking about the long range, probably starting next week. So be watching out for that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you all in the next video.